Numba langa viye kunuwe mage hanguman Arungal neriye vida killa Engili niyara peh killa Astere khanet killa I'm moving on It's been too long Ma inda langa madavatena Uru pemaka patalena Nuvanari manahari Sukumali numbatama
Today on the program, I have two very special guests. One is a big name in the music industry, not just in Sri Lanka, but in a number of countries around the world as well. And the other, I would say, is someone who is like brought this person into the spotlight, and he's got a lot of ideas, a vision, I believe, as well. So let's not keep you in the dark too much. Let's talk to these two people. Let's talk to Yohani and Dilanjan. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So Yohani, let's start with you. Since your debut album, I see a lot that's been happening these days. You've been associating yourself with some major international names. Let's talk about that.
That's a very broad question.
Yeah. So I see Sean Paul and
Yes.
Maya.
Well, so I would say let's start from like 2021.
Yeah.
That was when Manike happened.
Yeah.
I guess the journey after that has been amazing. I've learned a lot. I think we both have learned a lot in terms of music and how the industry works.
Right.
Recently, I've been able to collab with Edward Maya, Sean Paul with the Out of This World, yes,
Right.
World Cup
Yeah.
song.
Diamonds in the rough that have the shape of idle hearts I wish I knew
And a lot of Indian artists as well, like Jubi Nautiyal, Tony Kakkar, Amit Trivedi, Karan, and many more that's in the pipes as well that I'm working on.
Okay.
Apart from that, I'm also working on my second album
Okay.
for Sinhalese. So the work is going on with that as well.
Were you surprised at how fast you sort of, shot up after Manike? The popularity grew, and then, all these, global brands are also like coming after you, and everybody's like, Yohani.
I didn't know that would happen.
Right.
So I was ready for my music,
Right.
but not the other things that came with it, like the brand deals, like you said, and the other collaborations that was just on top of each other that I had to work on,
Okay.
which was a really fast-paced time,
Right.
and things were happening really fast. So I had to sort of adapt to that fast pace, because here in Sri Lanka, when I was working, it was more so slow paced. I could think of what to do, take my time, work with the producers, take week or two weeks to do a track. Just
Okay.
take my time. But
Okay.
here I had to do it really fast so that I can get my music out like how other people do in their countries.
That countries.
Aware hamana sulanga sema hitakatin me matakisea sana vadayali
And Dilanjan, with your expertise and knowledge from the US, you'll be able to transform, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, transform Yohani into this global brand. What was the secret? Because a lot of people are trying that. I see a lot of people failing.
Well, so I think we have to go back to 2018 when we first started the label. The focus was, or rather what we were trying to understand was why we haven't seen local talent break through to the mainstream first.
Right.
Mainstream stages in Sri Lanka first, and then why not international?
Right.
So we started out auditioning people, I think I've gone through 1,500 odd artists auditions. We ran through multiple press kits, brand kits, catalogs. What we found out there was that there is a lack of structure here in Sri Lanka, especially to develop an artist. So the label focused on development part of it initially. But doing that, we focused, while there were about 20 to 25 artists, we obviously focused on about 7 artists more. And I think Yohani was one of those artists who stayed the course. Now obviously there were pushback from society, there were in terms of like the home situation, pushbacks, all of that were happening. Yohani was a few of those people who stayed the course. So the success of it is hers, but we were able to manage the logistics within that, and we kept it ready in terms of when this happens, what is next. So when Pana Sinehasa first broke through, we knew what exactly we wanted to do. Then Pop Hits Mashup came into that. So this was her mainstream hit in the local market, and we exactly knew where we were headed with that. So I think now the label has come 6 years down the line. I've learned so much being in the industry, so many exposure points. I get to focus largely on the business angle of music and development of that infrastructure for the artists. So the label now is of management, publishing, and a complete in-house entertainment company.
And I also see, I've seen some of the raw videos of you producing some of these clips, and it looks like you're very precise on certain angles and so on. Something that, not to be critical, but I guess sometimes you need to be critical. You see in some other videos that they are falling short a lot. I mean, sometimes you have a track and then you have a music video would sort of give a boost to that track. I mean, does that play a key role in a track being more popular?
Yes, I think music video. So what we have to understand is, end of the day, is entertainment.
Yes.
Whether it's a song or film, it's entertainment, and we are used to consuming content a certain way. And if you don't give that way, like if the quality of the video is bad, obviously you're not going to watch it. Right. This applies across the board for artists as well. But the reason for it being not up to standard is, I think, twofold. One is obviously the budgets and who's investing in it.
Right.
Then the correct teams. Sometimes artists are too involved in the process of making that happening without trying to go and talk to a proper director.
Right.
So I think if that was like, if the artist has an understanding of, okay, this is the structure I need, this is the team I need, then maybe this might get pushed, the envelope might get pushed. But there are certain artists who are doing great work with music. But unfortunately, they lack the marketing teams to push it to the mainstream.
Yeah, actually, in one of my earlier programs, we were discussing about marketing and brands. And I guess if you market the product properly, then you can take it to the next level, isn't it? And that seems to be one of the shortcomings that we see with some of the other musicians who seem to have the name or seem to have the product, but they're not taking it out there.
With regards to anything, that's the case. If you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you're not making it available to the audience, you're not gonna. The marketing is just the way of making that available to the audience to see the right way, I think. I think you might be able to add something to the music video.
Yeah, well, I have a very artist perspective of it. I think it's a trend I see now. A lot of artists, because of other streaming platforms that's out there, like there's so many streaming platforms. I see even management-wise, they are first pushing the audios out now, and then if it just works, then they will do a video for it, which I think is a really great opportunity for the artist also, if in terms of the budget constraint that there is. But also, in my perspective, I think you should put some kind of visual out because that's what sticks in the long run.
Yeah, but also you have the opportunity of funds being pushed from the label to like you have the creative freedom. Yeah, but
that's true.
Emerging artists may not have that.
Yeah, so the other first point kind of works as well.
Yeah.
Right now.
But I guess, so do you target various forms of, like say now you have Spotify, you have YouTube, then there are other platforms there as well. When you produce a track, do you also target certain platforms, or it's like, it's in general?
That's the other.
I have so we need to take a step back on this thing to understand. Let's take an emerging artist.
Right.
Are you focused on targeting and making it popular? No. We as executives of music, we are never going to like encourage you to make a hit. Now let's draw a comparison. If you take a name who is really big in the Sri Lankan market, they have at least been there for 15-20 years.
Right.
Yohani's journey is nearly 6 years. If you take it from 2018 itself, it's about 6 years. And within that 6 years, she has a studio album to her name and about 40 singles. Artists who have like a certain hit or rather a song or three starts performing live immediately.
Right.
Which is okay. But you get stuck in that and not building your discography.
Right.
So while that is important to understand, okay, Spotify works better in India, YouTube works better in Bangladesh, you also have to understand what is your sound, what is your discography is going to be like. So if you look at Yohani is not available for any feature concerts in the country.
Okay.
As of now. I mean, can she book it? Sure. Are we losing money there? Sure. But in the long run, she has a huge body of work that allows us to go and tell, hey Warner, your artist is multi-platinum. Our artist has a studio album of 40 singles. Can we do a collab now?
Okay.
That is why it's important that you're not going to crack the collab with 3 singles.
Okay. Yeah, and you see some of these artists coming, like you said, with the 3 singles, 1 single, and then after that they're missing. You don't hear anything from them. It's like there's no future plan. That's sort of what you were going into, right?
I think you will be able to also add a bit of insight into how this album work or how your body of work becomes cohesive.
Yeah, like he said, like even I want to do live shows. That's like my main thing. That's what I enjoy doing. But like he said, right now I'm working on my Sinhalese album, next Sinhalese album. Then I'm working on an EP in India.
Okay.
Then I'm working on some singles in India. Apart from that, I'm also doing some English collaborations from other few artists outside India. So for me to pick one song, I have to go through about 500 songs that I'm creating by myself. So for that, I need my space, I need my time. So if I'm touring,
Be exhausted.
That's a whole other field of things, and I can't do both. I have tried it and I can't do it.
Okay.
I've realized that it not only like puts my creativity down, I'm not doing it properly in the live stage also, because I'm constantly thinking about what I have to do when I go to the studio or when I finish the concert. So you have to sort of manage that time. So this time, like currently, I'm just working on my songs that I'm gonna release this year.
Okay. Do you feel overwhelmed at times? I mean, you've got, so much in your hands.
Of course. Sorry. What you said about the album.
Yeah.
I will. It got really hectic because that was my first album, and I've been working on it since I started music as a career in 2019. So that's like, I put it last year, so it's like 4 years of work. After 2 years, I realized there were 14 songs. There are 14 songs in the album. After 2 years, I realized, wait a minute, I know more now. And I sort of changed everything.
Okay.
I got 8 people from Sri Lanka, 8 people from India, and I sent like a, what do you call it? questionnaire.
Yeah, like a research set of questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
I sent my all my songs on a SoundCloud and send it and give me feedback on everything, like the lyrics, production, the sounds used. There were like 5 categories of it, and genre, and to give me feedback. So I just sort of completely changed the album one more time. So rather than doing 2 albums, I think I did the same thing twice.
Okay.
Because of my learnings and the learnings I had from India and other artists there, working with them, how they
To
work.
ensure quality of the product.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other mark we miss in the country. The audio has come a long way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the listening experience matters nowadays. You can't do it just doing it.
Okay.
So she put a lot of effort into getting the sound right, the mixing right. We mastered this entire album in Netherlands. Also, from my angle of looking at things, she's not the only artist who's producing an album or an EP for us. Right?
Okay.
So we allocate funds and we're like, hey, Yohani, we need the album by end of this year.
Okay.
And we do tell this to about 7 different artists.
Okay.
And then Yohani calls and says, hey, you know what? I need more time. I'm going to redo everything from scratch. We're like, why? We already like the songs.
Right.
She's like, no, I want to. So then there's another problem. She has to justify this to the label and the time.
Okay.
Right? Time is essentially money for us. So then, but I think Yohani is also very adamant. No, I want this sound. This is my sound. I want this to be like that. Yes, the time then takes a lot of time, but she ends up delivering a better product.
To add to that, I think now I'm realizing, just looking back, when I'm working with a producer or a singer-songwriter or like a new artist or whoever, if I'm working on their song, they would send it to me and be like, you put your input here, rather than me doing something that they want me to do.
Okay.
They're like, forget about it, just do from scratch, do your thing.
Okay.
So I think that has become sort of an identity also for me in terms of my production and music, what I bring to the table.
Okay.
So case in point, actually. So the latest collaborations with Sean Paul, Edward Maya, and Haliva. So Edward Maya, is very popular in Europe.
Yeah.
Sean Paul. Haliva is the biggest act in Morocco.
Okay.
Then they send the demo. So the label has to talk to another publisher, then a label, crack the deal, and then, okay, we are agreeing Yohani's on the track.
Okay.
Here's the demo. Here's the melody. We want Yohani to listen. Yohani gets it and no, this is not what I want. No? First of all, this is my way of it. She puts the key down, she changes the arrangement, all of that. And suddenly she also calls and says, I want Sinhala lyrics in it.
Okay.
You notice all collabs have Sinhala lyrics in it. Edward Maya's song has a Sinhala lyric. Haliva, a Moroccan artist, put Sinhala lyrics. Sean Paul's international anthem has Sinhala lyrics in it.
Okay.
So she makes sure that she pushes the identity into each song.
Yeah.
And that is because you want to promote your identity or the Sinhalese?
It's a bit of
music?
both.
Okay.
I mean, I'm Sri
Sri
Lankan.
Lankan.
So it's in my DNA, and I want to push that culture, the sounds. Even if you take my music, I try to incorporate some Sri Lankan drums,
Okay.
something that's unique to Sri Lanka, so
Right.
that identity is there in my music. It's my roots, so I want to have it in all my music.
You're my paradise, running in my veins. It's the color of waves. I'll be coming home, light years or more can't keep me away.
But now, while you are so passionate about your country and promoting Sri Lankan music and the Sri Lankan brand, there's also this criticism that Sri Lanka itself, is not giving enough prominence for Sri Lankan artists. They seem to be spending, I know this is a debatable thing, but this is being said out there. It looks like, sometimes when there are major events, there's a lot of money that is put in to bring in the international artists. Very little, maybe it's because of we spoke about earlier about quality and so on. But do you think that there needs to be more emphasis on promoting our own brands, our own people, as opposed to giving
I
space
have
out
a
there?
very so from a audience point of view, we
Yes.
can never blame the audience for not listening to or supporting Sri Lanka music, because there is a huge audience. Maybe not the Colombo elite, but there is an audience. Now, can government and the infrastructure in the economic sense can
Yeah.
do better? 100%. There can be so many careers made out of this industry and put so much structure into this industry. That can happen
Right.
by maybe whichever the government body that looks after. Yes, then there is a problem of not having the venues to play bigger shows. All 10,000 upward shows has to be outdoor. And it's very unpredictable with the rain. Therefore, people like us will not consider investing into the market. Yohani, if you look at it, Yohani show even, she puts about 15,000 people for a show, and easily we can book her into Dubai Arena. Even remotely, Raipur would have in India would have a larger capacity hall. Here we don't have that.
Okay.
So that problem is there. Also, then the matter of perceived quality. Yes, are you going to Singapore to see Coldplay? Coming back to Sri Lanka to see Flashback. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to. There is that
Yeah.
definite drastic difference also.
Okay.
What do you think, maybe from an emotional point of view for artists?
I see you want to avoid that topic. But
No, but
yeah.
I just think
No, because that is actually something that is still spoken about when I go out there. People say, why, let's say even Yohani, why isn't, why aren't the authorities doing enough to give Yohani prominence? Instead, they're maybe getting down foreign artists and, promoting him big. Maybe you can do both at the same time, but why? And then the local artists also say, look, there are reasons for that as well. And the authorities have, of course, explained their reasons why certain artists are not given enough prominence. But then, how is our industry going to progress if we are not investing in our own industry?
I would like more support.
Yeah.
Personally.
So there is actually an issue there. 2018, when we had focused on the 7 artists, this industry is gate kept.
Okay.
Right? It's not a easy entry there.
Yeah, true.
And then there's a big problem of rights.
Right.
Misguided concepts of rights and artistry being. So while you have these misconceptions about the actual law even, you're hindering other people's careers. Maybe for some odd reasons of seniority, or maybe some misguided principle of art being godly or whatever. It only hinders the talent. But then there are a few smart people in the industry as well who takes advantage of this gate keeps the young artists. But in the West, if you do like let's say cover, Johan started with covers. Right?
Okay.
You don't have to take permission from anybody.
Okay.
You don't call and say, hey, ask permission. There are structures, there is a thing called mechanical royalties which gets automatically allocated when you distribute the song.
Okay.
So the original artist does earn. Even in Sri Lanka, when you distribute the right way, the original artist does earn. But here, the senior people will come call you and, even lawsuits are there, hindering careers. I don't know what the mentality there.
Okay.
But there is that, within the industry, that hindrance is there. We faced it. To date, I face it with a lot of my young artists.
Okay.
Of course, Yohani is now doesn't really care about that case now.
But that copyright
We
issue.
did face those things when we started.
Okay. And how is, just jumping tracks now, how is your, feeling been when you work with people like Edward Maya and Sean Paul and then the T20 World Cup? You seem to be going up and up and up.
for some reason, even like I've done the few collabs in India,
Right.
and now these few collabs with Shampal, Edamaya, Aliva, and all these artists. I always keep going back to where I first started.
Right.
That's my pub shows,
Okay.
because I've realized that it's the same thing. It's really the same thing, but just bigger.
Okay.
Like the work is bigger. There's management. There's labels. There's so many other things. But
Right.
the core of it is the same thing,
Okay.
and that makes me go. So going back to like my pub shows really helped me navigate whatever I'm doing with all the bigger artists
Right.
right now, so that I stick to my creative process and thought process. So the feeling is, I would say, the same
Okay.
in terms of my music and how I work on my music. It's just on a bigger scale.
Okay.
ඉතින් ආදරේ පතාල තැබුණේ ඔබේ නමින් සිතින් වේදනා දිදී මියදුනේ.
And what are you looking at ahead? I know you're talking about more tracks, more albums, collaboration-wise. Who are we looking at? Is there something that you can put out there? Some names that you want to do or you don't want to?
I'm not too sure. I might get like a
Okay.
paper written.
Publicist. For the publicist.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay.
But there are some amazing, really cool tracks that's coming up,
Okay.
and I've been excited for some of it. It's just taking a little bit of time because I'm trying to come to Sri Lanka and then go back
Travel
to
up
India
and down,
and Dubai. So that whole traveling process takes a lot of time.
Okay.
But this year, everyone will hear a lot of music from me.
Are you targeting more of the Indian market since that has caught up so big, or is it a mix?
So, okay, this actually is the last strategy meeting of our label.
Okay.
Where is the focus, and who can support the next career, the next jump of a Sri Lankan artist or a South Asian artist? So, music big labels like Warner, UMG, Virgin, these are focused in India.
Okay.
So they have their labels, but actually the label is South Asian.
Okay.
The focus is, if you look at it, the focus has to be South Asian, but their predominant focus is Bollywood. Even a Kerala artist who's singing in a regional language doesn't get playlisted in the main thing. And also the platforms have evolved so much, it's very hard to break through the algorithm and showcase a singular song into the now Indian markets. So now we, as the label, is strategizing as an indie label, thinking, okay, can we cater to the sound that is popular? We are forgetting the language here. We have to be language agnostic here. Can the sound travel so far? And the melody be correct, right? So Yohani produces for that audience, which she already has a large Indian audience. So it makes sense for her to focus slightly to that Indian-ish while retaining her identity. But I'm working with another Tajikistani artist, so her music is much more Middle Eastern.
Okay.
Fusion with Bollywood. So we are exploring new sound to break through than the language itself.
Okay.
Including few from like Kerala, Assam in India. So we look at all of that, so that maybe Warner will figure out a way to accept those into playlists also.
Okay.
Tough. She might have a different.
And apart from singing, Yohani, what else do you like doing? I mean, we see your voice, we hear your voice rather a lot. Is acting something that we're going to see Yohani doing very soon as well? Or
For
no,
now,
no.
acting, I'm not too sure. I want to focus on music.
Okay.
I mean, if acting comes, yes, probably. But then my main still will be music, because in my head, I'm still starting out,
Right.
especially from the markets that I'm just going into. So that I have to start from scratch.
Okay.
So music will be my main focus. Other than that, I just do everything to do with adventure. So
Okay.
whatever comes my way, other than music, it's everything to do with adventure.
And how was the experience with the T20 World Cup?
That was very cool.
Yeah.
You wanna tell?
There was no T20 World.
Oh, there was no T20 World Cup.
But the song was cool.
The song was good. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we had big plans. They had allocated a huge budget to push this.
Okay.
We did a music video with Jean Paul.
Yeah.
None of that came about, but yeah, unfortunately, can't. I mean, you can blame definitely the team,
Yeah.
but it's unfortunate. She was super excited. I mean, we cracked this for about 6 months of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Recording,
A
contracts,
lot of contracts.
Okay.
So many, yeah.
and going back and forth, lyrics being approved, lyricists being pitched and gotten approved. So much of work, and just in 2 days. Okay, thank you.
Well, it was really good having you guys on the show. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so we'll have to cut short. But it was good hearing about your experience, your future plans, and all the knowledge that you have to give for the industry. Thank you guys for being on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
And that's all the time we have for you for Let's Talk for this week. Till next time, stay safe.
මත් කරවන දෙනෙතග රැඳුනා ඒ